Hello subscribers, today is Friday, April 21st, 2023, and this is a market recap for MasterChartsTrading.com. As always, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with others. Your actions such as this keeps this channel going. Thank you for them. Basically, stocks were trading sideways for the past couple of weeks. We could see a push towards record highs or a move back down to retest recent breakout. I think this pullback would be a buying opportunity. We will look at gold as dollar bounce is pressuring the gold and silver prices. We'll also look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, as the prices for them are also moving lower. If you're a subscriber, stay tuned. We have all of these various securities, for example, natural gas, various ETFs like emerging markets, China, as well as individual shares like Amazon, Google, Home Depot, Honeywell, and various speculative shares such as Cipher Mining, Weight Watchers, interesting looking chart, Pacific Biosciences, as well as some of the gold miners. If you're not yet a subscriber, consider signing up by going to the description of this video and signing up for one of the products, namely the indicators that I'm going to be using throughout the presentation and the newsletter that you will get if you're a subscriber. Looking at S&P 500 on this chart, as always, I'm using my indicators. You can see them on this chart. They're green, blue, red, and yellow lines. They show basically support and resistance levels. They highlight them for you. So people keep saying, oh, where is the support? Where is the resistance? Well, you don't really have to guess. You can see them on this chart very clearly. So when in this case, S&P 500, you can see that we saw a breakout above this blue support resistance line where I'm hovering right now on the 10th of April, just a few days ago, last week, a couple of weeks ago. And this means we have a new bull market, new uptrend for S&P 500. Up until very recently, we had what's called a downtrend, a bear market for S&P 500. And you can see a few opportunities to sell security short, for example, here in August and September of last year, actual alerts, and we made some decent money here. However, this bear market in general, I'm looking right now at the weekly chart. So weekly meaning that each candlestick is a week's worth of activity. You can change the length here, interval here by clicking the appropriate interval. If you're using my indicators, make sure to change the length where I'm hovering to 52 if you're using the weekly chart. If you're using the daily chart, daily meaning each candlestick is a day's worth of activity, leave the length as 250. So looking at the weekly chart, beginning of the bear market where I'm hovering right now started last year, exactly a year ago, April 29th, 2022. But notice that this downward movements were very muted. We barely got any downward movements. And finally, we sort of bottomed out here in October of last year and began to raise, to move higher. I was already questioning, notice this, October 13, 2022 of last year, I was already beginning to question this bear market. This was a clear hammer-like candlestick. Hammer just means that this particular candlestick right there on 13th of October looks like a hammer. It has a long handle at the bottom and a green body. Then we had this giant green candlestick on November 10th, and I was almost sure we did not have a bear market anymore. So as far as November of last year, I was already questioning this downtrend in stocks. Now we're no longer questioning this downtrend. We're in an uptrend for sure. So notice that for the best, since basically beginning of April till now, we were trading, just basically trading around the same area. We really did not go anywhere higher or lower. We're just kind of trading up and down around the same area. So if we project my indicators into the future, notice that they are curving down into the near term. So it's quite reasonable, again, to expect that we will get a small pullback. if we get a pullback of about, well, let me see. It's very, very shallow. Maybe 3 to 5% pullback. That would be a buying opportunity. We are already long. In other words, my subscribers are already buying the security, buying S&P 500, buying various stocks. However, we could get a pullback. Another possibility is we don't get a pullback. Excuse me. And we will continue higher from here. In fact, looking at the weekly chart, notice that the indicators are curving down. We broke out. And if we look on the weekly chart, we can see that the all-time highs right there that were set in January of 2022 are not that far off. We're a mere, 15% away. It sounds like a lot, but it's actually not that much. And as I pointed out, this potential pattern. So let's say we do move to new records. Okay. Then the depth of this pattern, so this is called a range flip, or however you want to call it. So the depth of this big pattern, from the bottom in October of last year till previous highs is around 30%, or about 1,000 points. And again, if we move 1,000 points higher, we're going to be at 6,000 for S&P 500. And this is not, it's like normal. It's like a normal behavior. So I think if we, continue moving higher again, and then we make a new record, I think we can flip this whole entire range up and continue even further higher. This is, again, a very bullish prediction, but some people are saying that if this happens, then we will have ridiculous inflation. It's possible. What is the catalyst for the move higher of such magnitude? I honestly, don't know. Nobody really knows what will be the catalyst. Who knows what would happen in the future? Perhaps we will have a deficit spending program again, like we had during various wars, etc. Perhaps there will be some other reason why this is happening. But I think it's, again, quite reasonable for this to happen if we make a new record. But we need to make a new record first. And looking at the daily chart, a pullback is quite likely. But this pullback is 3 to 5%. So, do you really want to sell it short at this point? Or maybe if you're already long, if you already bought, just wait and see. And then again, if we pull back, 3 to 5%, that would be a buying opportunity. Looking at Dow Jones, this is YM exclamation point on S&P on TradingView.com. By the way, this is called TradingView.com interface. Dow Jones, let's look at the weekly chart, longer term. Dow Jones is super close to records. We're 8% away. You see, Dow Jones is outperforming. This is a very bullish chart for multiple reasons. If we just concentrate on this little, I'm going to show it to you, on this little move. So from the lows in September, October, we moved up to recent highs. Now we did basically what's called a sideways to slightly down consolidation. Okay, and then once we clear this high, so we can show it to you like that maybe. So if we clear this high, we will most likely duplicate this move from the downside. This move that I'm gonna duplicate. This could be like that. Okay, that's already moving Dow Jones to about 4,100 territory, and as I just showed you for S&P 500, if indeed we break to new records, so new records would be, oh, excuse me, records would be about 30% or 8,000 points. That's, a significant move if we break to new records. So 44,000 to 45,000 for Dow Jones, again, is not an outrageous prediction. It's like a normal thing. When is it going to happen? A few weeks, or rather a few months. I mean, this is not going to happen, overnight, obviously. But I think a year out to a year and a half out, we could be looking at Dow Jones around 44,000. Looking at NASDAQ, so NASDAQ, see the same sort of pattern from the lows here in December. Then we saw we made a top right there in December in February of this year, kind of shallow pullback, and then now we're breaking out. We broke out right there where I'm hovering on 31st of March. We're just trading sideways for the past couple of weeks, but again, I think we will be moving higher. In fact, here's my position, QQQ. I bought QQQ myself. This is NASDAQ 100. I bought it right there on the January 20th, and I bought it at 280. We're currently at 316, so it's a very nice gain. I'm still holding full position. I haven't actually taken any profits yet. In fact, if we do get a pullback towards this blue support resistance line, that's like a 3 to 5% move. I think would be a buying opportunity. Again, right now we're at 316. If we pull back to around 302, that would be a buying opportunity. So we're not wildly yet bullish, but it's a bullish chart. I think we could see significant upside from here. Russell 2000 small caps index is dragging its feet here in March, early March. This is a drop when we saw Silicon Valley Bank collapse. So yes, it's small cap banks were under pressure. However, we held support. Notice we did not drop below this yellow line. We multiple occasions here in March, we tried to pierce through that level, but it did not go through. So now we're seeing a move higher. We're actually now above this red support resistance line. We're already, if we move a little bit higher, we're going to be above the blue line again, and the blue line signifies bull market. So if even if we get a small pullback, Russell 2000, because of the correlations with other securities, will continue higher eventually once the entire market turns around. So I am bullish on the markets right now, stock markets right now. Dollar index, dollar currency index. We can look at the weekly chart to make a point. So here's dollar currency index. Dollar was up until recently in an uptrend. That uptrend that started back in July of 2021 with a ginormous move that topped out finally here in September of last year, turned around and continued lower. Now, if we zoom in on this last part here, right there, this is the beginning of a downtrend, January 9th of this year, 2023. We can also look on the daily chart right there where I'm hovering. January, well, actually 12th in this case, because that's it was a weekly chart. This is a daily chart. So beginning of a downtrend right there, meaning that now we need to reverse our thinking. We're no longer thinking that the dollar index is in an uptrend. We're thinking that the dollar index is in a downtrend. So we made a low right there on February 2nd, moved higher, had a couple more opportunities to sell the dollar short, and actually they were successful. Now we have come right there where I'm hovering on Thursday and Friday, 13th and 14th of April of last week. We touched those levels from February 2nd and rallied higher. So right now I'm thinking that we are going to continue the rally. I don't think we're done with the rally for the dollar. Now this rally is what's called a relief, a bounce. In other words, or you can call it dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it. The major trend is down, but we're just bouncing within a bigger downtrend. If we look on the weekly chart, this bounce is, you can barely see it, but we did bottom. So here's the bottom from February, and here's the bottom from April. You can see I just drew a line across it. So if we pierce that line, if we actually close below that line, I think we will easily continue towards the downside target. You see around 5% lower from today's prices to like 96. But I think at first a bounce is quite possible. So this bounce is weighing already on various securities that are traded in dollars, in this case gold. So why do I care about dollar? Is because gold is traded in dollars. You can see XAU divided by USD. So if the bottom part of this equation is getting bigger, getting more expensive, it will pull this currency pair lower. Up until very recently, dollar was in a downtrend. Gold rallied strongly, very strongly. And I think we're at least temporarily topped out right there on 13th, 14th of April. We're now pulling back. I think we can see a pullback. Well, can't really see it that well here on gold, but I think a pullback towards where the blue line is right now. So, excuse me. So the blue line is right there. At around 1886. I think we will pull back towards 1886. That is around about 5% pullback or so. And that would correspond to a rally for the dollar. Okay, so dollar rallies, gold pulls back. We can also look at silver, XAGUSD. This one is even more obvious, I think. And once again, I think a pullback towards the blue line, currently at around 2280, which is around 9% or 10% pullback for silver is quite possible. But silver is also in an uptrend, so we're thinking about buying it. But if we get this pullback for around 9%, that would be a much better price than to buy it right now. However, long term, I think silver is currently in an uptrend. Moving on to Bitcoin, here's Bitcoin, BTC USD. So Bitcoin is in an uptrend where I'm hovering. See how easy it is to determine if the security is an uptrend or a downtrend using my indicators. There's the new uptrend for Bitcoin that occurred on 15th of February. How do I know? We had a close above this blue support resistance line. That's all I really need to know. We had just a tremendous opportunity right there around 12th of March to buy Bitcoin at around 21,000 with a huge move towards 30,800. Right now we are pulling back. Notice the security is pulling back. I think Bitcoin will continue to pull back towards around 2,500. And I think at that point it will become a good buying opportunity. This is around 7% lower from today's prices. Here's my Ethereum trade. So Ethereum, Bitcoin, they move together more or less. Most of the cryptos move together with other cryptos. So I actually bought Ethereum right there on the 29th of January at $1,626 per coin. How do I know it was an uptrend? I didn't. You see back here in February of this year. All I needed to know is, okay, I'm going to look at my indicators. I'm going to look at my candlesticks, and right there is where the candlestick on the Sunday, the 29th of January, is where the Ethereum closed above this blue line. That's all I really needed to know. That means the security is now in an uptrend. I went ahead and I bought there. I was sitting in a position for quite a while until finally we had a nice move higher, another opportunity to buy right there on 13th of March, and then it just kept going higher. So there is, in a nutshell, how I trade. and you can see right now we are moving lower. So it's possible that this has to do with the strengthened dollar. It's not as clear cut with cryptocurrencies. However, I did take profits on my position. So I sold about a quarter of my position right there on the 14th of April. So I bought at 1,626. I sold a quarter at 2,048. Today or yesterday, actually today, I'm sorry, I sold another quarter at 1,800, and I moved my stop to the blue line, which is currently at 1,740. So overall, a very positive trade, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. That's it for this week's recap. Head over to MasterChartsTrading.com, click on sign up for one of the products. I have the trading indicators that I just was showing to you. You can get free 7-day trial for all of my packages. The trading indicators will simplify your trading life tremendously, because you can see where to buy, where to sell, whether security is in an uptrend or a downtrend. The newsletter, I send out daily alerts about various securities that we trade. For example, this week I'm gonna I've been sending out various alerts throughout the weeks, but this week we're also going to cover this in the members only video of various securities, including gold miners, speculative securities, large cap stocks, ETFs, as well as various commodities and cryptocurrencies and forex, such as natural gas, United States dollar versus Japanese yen, etc. That's it for this week's recap. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for watching, and have another great trading week. Bye-bye.